My EOE cards have just landed and we're already on to Avatar. Hey guys, welcome back to Casting Commons, the show where we talk and discuss all things Pauper. I am your host Teasdale, and this is my co-host, the Illivoy Gilblade himself. Yeah, Reese.
You probably should have done an Avatar card.
I know, but you know, I couldn't be bothered. I'm still on the EOE hype. I haven't finished all the decks I had brewed, and we're already moved on. Before we start, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and also don't forget to rate us 5 stars on Spotify. And you can also follow us at Casting Commons 1 on Twitter for the most recent Pauper deck lists. And of course, the most important thing, join our Discord to submit hot takes, to be part of giveaways, talk to us about Pauper, and just join the Discord because it's just good crack. It's good conversation. The Northern English accent coming out there. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, all good. Excited to talk a bit more about Pauper.
Not about airbending or waterbending or...
Well, I feel like that's sort of part of it now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or about to be.
About to be indeed. And then we're going to move on to web slinging. Which I actually think is a great sort of segue, because the Pauper Thought of the Week, because we've had a mass of Spider-Man spoilers like a few weeks ago with the, was it the SDCC Comic-Con thing where like they spoiled a bunch of Magic cards for Spider-Man. But then we've also got a massive influx of Avatar spoilers recently with all the lessons and the no-learn cards and all this sort of flavour stuff. And basically my Pauper Thought of the Week is that I actually think there's a high chance that Spider-Man or Avatar sort of set, one or the other, if not even both, will most likely impact Pauper on a similar sort of level as Modern Horizons.
It's a pretty scary thought.
Yep. And and it's not even like, to be fair, right, don't get me wrong, us as Pauper get it less than any other format, right? Like Legacy is obviously massively shifted by Modern Horizons. Modern's obviously like rotated out from one Modern Horizons to the next. We still have decks that still exist, right? Like you've still got elves, you still have fairies that have existed from the get-go, but they do impact the format in a significant way. Like with Riven Chrysalis, you've got Refurb, you've got the Bridges, you got Ephemerate, all these sort of cards. And I feel like we will get a big impact on that sort of same level. And it doesn't have to be something as egregious as like, oh my god, this is this so powerful card, everybody's going to have it, etc. And, you know, every deck got to play it. But even stupid stuff of 4 of the 22 legendaries are all now in every other deck, and Cast Down's now massively unplayable or isn't free. And to me, that's a massive impact in Pauper. That is a Modern Horizons level impact. You went from the best all removal spell as just they're now not free. So, and I wouldn't be surprised because both of these sets have a mass amount of legendaries in it seems.
Yeah, I guess Avatar, from what we've seen, there's not really any common. Where Spider-Man there's just absolute loads of common.
Yeah.
It's obviously we don't have both sets fully spoiled, so it's not the easiest to evaluate right now. But from what we have seen currently, like especially for me, looking at the cards, the Avatar set feels a lot more like, I guess, starter set-y. Obviously, there's the entry decks or whatever that come with it that have commons in as well, and there's the main set. But a lot of it, like a lot of the commons, even in the entry decks and in the main set, are very like basic cards, if that sort of makes sense. Like they're just like 5 mana 4/4s with the ETB, or like 2 mana 2/2s or 4 mana 3/3 flyers. Like there's nothing like that strong about them as of yet. There's like a couple that sort of seem like they might be interesting. Like there's from the starter set, there's like a 1 mana 2/1 in red, isn't it? But yeah, it very much feels like a bit of a like corset-y vibe, if anything, to be honest. So I'm a bit doubtful on that one having too much of an impact. But the Spider-Man one definitely feels like, unfortunately, it's gonna change Pauper quite a lot, and it's the one that sort of is the most what's the word where he just doesn't feel like a Magic set. Like the Avatar one, at least, sort of feels a bit like Portal 3 Kingdoms-y style.
Yeah.
Sort of fits in the Magic universe, but the Spider-Man one is just like completely takes you out of Magic. But that's probably the one that's gonna be played the most. Because a lot of the cards they've spoiled already look like they could be playable, especially like the core Skyfisher guy.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, and you might be right. Like, obviously, we haven't got the whole set, so we might just have majority of the star decks, and as you say, it does look very corset-y, and, you know, you're just getting bits and bobs. So I could definitely see that not impacting as much, but there's definitely... It's hard to tell, because, obviously, these Universe Beyond sets are obviously... They're designed with flavour in mind, right? First. 100% is how they're designed, because like Avatar's got all these lessons in, no learn, so they're just literally just instant in that sort of thing. It's just more instant and sorcery based, but they have the type lesson, which obviously matters for other like actual deck constructed Pauper for like not constructed formats, like Pauper, like potentially even like Modern or whatever, or Pioneer, I guess. So that has the, like, and I'm not saying it will impact it, particularly because we don't have the whole set to do that, but what I'm saying is because it's so flavour-based, they just could take, like, 2 or 3 cards that are just, oh, this is really on point for flavour, but it's actually incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
That we haven't seen yet. And because they have to, they don't have to design these sets like that, but I feel like that has to come first, otherwise what's the point in the IP? That... I think there's a chance that this could just, one of these could just massively impact the format. Which is pretty strange. Strange way to think.
Yeah, I guess hopefully it's designed a bit more for standard, which, or for a reasonable standard, I guess, where the power level's a bit lower. Like Final Fantasy very much felt like a modern, like, design set, but then they just put it into standard. Whereas this, like, a lot of the cards just seem a lot more, like, reasonable, I guess, or not ridiculously pushed for no reason.
Yeah. Hopefully that is the case.
But yeah, Spider-Man definitely stands out to me as the front runner now that, well, it's just going to impact Pauper. There's a lot of cards that seem sort of almost there, if not good enough already. And then there's a lot of those cards are then just legends, which, as you say, sort of impacts the removal that's even playable.
Which is interesting, but like, don't get me wrong, I did like back when I obviously followed Standard and played Standard, I really did like deck building constraints on removal. Like, I didn't like catch-alls. It did feel very miserable to an extent, like, oh, just this card answers everything. But when you've had things like in the past where you've had like Doomblade-esque or Heartless Act sort of cards that are good against some things, bad against others, and it's like, do you play cards with counters so he doesn't die to Heartless Act or whatever, and all that sort of stuff. Like, those are good deck building constraints that make cards better or worse, and it's not a bad place to be. Like, I'm all for Cast Down not being free anymore. Like, I am fine with that.
Yeah.
But I just think it's because I'm like I am fine with obviously like the Modern Horizon sets as well. Like, I'm fine. Like, these impacts are good because for Pauper we don't get like it generally isn't degenerate. It's not like Legacy or Modern where something is generally super broken that it's completely unplayable. Like, obviously we've had that in the past with like Chatstorm, but again, I don't think it's that bad generally. So it is exciting, but just an interesting thought that these might actually massively impact the form, which is cool.
Yeah. I think just as a sort of close out on it, the biggest worry for me, sort of in regards to the Spider-Man set, is it seems like 3 out of the main mechanics are just cost reduction mechanics, which is always a sort of a scary place to be in, especially when they're putting them on commons.
Yeah.
Obviously the web slinging mechanic, like one of the main mechanics of the set, is just a straight up cost reduction on the creature. If you return a tapped creature to your hand, you'd just pay a much cheaper cost. So that makes all those cards sort of look appealing. Then there's the Mayhem mechanic, which is sort of like a slightly tweaked Madness. But again, instead of paying 4 mana for a 4/3, if you discard it, you pay 2 mana for a 4/3. And I believe that sort of the other weird part of that is it's not like Madness. You don't have to play it right away. You can just play it this turn. So you can like loot and discard the Mayhem card, move to your second Mayhem phase, and then play a land and cast it. And then the other ones are like, there's the villain mechanic where if you control a villain, it costs 2 less to cast. Obviously, that requires the villains to also be playable, but yeah, that's probably sort of the lesser one out of the 3, but cost reduction in Pauper is always scary.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you get some of these villains are like actually like named villains, you know, like the actual like Doc Ock, Venom, etc. Then puts you into their legendary as well, which is then another, like as you say, all these cost reduction. You've got the web slinging, so all the web slingers are all the Spider-Man or heroes or spider people, so they're legendary. And then so it is interesting, like all these. So you've got the double whammy of cost reduction impacting, as always impacted Pauper in a massive way, Tolarian Terror, etc. For just one off the top of my head. Then you've got obviously all these legendary creatures now coming into Pauper, another impact. So it could be an exciting time, even though we'll never ever see the words, if you play Magic Online, never see the words Spider-Man on a card. But but that's a talk for another day, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it'll be in terms of the removal, if we end up with a black creature that is playable and a legend and doesn't die to bolt.
Like Venom.
Yeah, exactly. The removal's gonna have to sort of change up quite a bit. Like you've got Journey, sort of Thraben and Charm, but you need to commit some guys to it. If it's not dying to bolt, you're gonna need at least 2 guys in play. Then
Venom's not a bad static guy, so
yeah,
maybe he's playable. But
I don't think that one is, but
no,
yeah,
you never know.
There definitely could be. There's a lot still to be spoiled, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. But that's kind of why I was touching on the whole removal in standard. Like a card like that isn't actually playable. If all the removal is cast down, snuff out, bolt.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of is playable because it doesn't die.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like a weird thing. The card itself is not very good, but it's not awfully statted, so then it might actually be playable because the removals favoured it. Do you know what I mean? It's pretty interesting, and that's the kind of thing that I like about it, but we'll see. Definitely see, for sure. Anything else to add before I move on?
No, not really. It's obviously, when these sets come, there'll be a lot to talk about then.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So keep listening, guys, just in case that wasn't obvious. Because we'll obviously be hot on the press as always. Anyways, before I move on to the challenges, we've got 3 challenges and a showcase, the last showcase for Pauper. Do not forget to join our Discord because there are card marker credit and play points to be given away. We have done the giveaway for August, and congratulations to Jack on winning the card marker credit and Dacius Terror for winning the play points. I'll be DMing yourself after this episode so I can get information that I need, or just sending you the codes for the prizes. The next one will be drawn out probably at the end of September, so please don't forget to join the Discord and submit your hot takes to take part. Also, I do have some other codes to give away, so stay tuned in following the Discord where I'll probably give some away in there and probably on Twitter as well. So follow those. And some tournament news. We have cleaned some up that have already been, like the Recollect one at the weekend. We have the 23rd of August, which is this Saturday. There is at Red Sun's Collectible, our running event in Home Firth Gaming Centre, near Huddersfield. It is 12:30, registration, £15 entry, boosters and promos based on attendance. The link for that will be in the description and be a sweet event. The 25th of October in Leipzig, there will be a 128 player event, be Germany's biggest Pauper event, and it is hosted by the Pauper to the People. The people have been doing the other events in Germany, so it'll be great to see how that does. It'll be held at Con Island and will be 20 euros to enter. The event link is also in the description. And then finally, the 20th of September in Labryrinthe, Chislehurst. I'm not gonna lie, I'm never comfortable saying that, and I could probably say it 10 times over. I'll never be comfortable. 64-player Pauper event. The link again is in the description for that. That'll be a sweet one as well. No other news, I don't think, in the general Pauper space. So just showcases and the like, and all the people frantically fighting for the last chance qualifier to get into this showcase. But anyways, moving on to the challenges and stuff.
Yeah, so the Friday challenge from the 15th of August. First place was High Tide. Second place was Blue Red Fair. Third place, Mono Black Sack. Fourth place, Spy Walls. Fifth, Blue Red Scred. Sixth, Mono Blue Terror. Seventh, another copy of High Tide and another copy of Spy Walls. And then the two near misses, ninth was Blue Black Affinity and 10th was Blue Black Fair. Sort of pretty mixed up challenge, to be fair. There's obviously the standout decks at the moment with Spy Walls and High Tide represent multiple copies. But then two variants of Fae in the top 10 is pretty wild.
Yeah, we've seen obviously this blue-red over the past couple of weeks sort of flicker around doing reasonable, right? I think, do we have a 9th and a 10th, or a 9th and then a top, lower top 8 or whatever it was? But it's pretty good to finally see, obviously break. Same pilot as well. Break to the top and obviously just miss out on first place. Which is pretty sweet.
And then the Mono Black Sack in third as well. It doesn't. It's not running the new card, the Pedigree Familiar.
Yeah, the
Pedigree Reckoner.
Whatever it's called.
It is running a lot of weird, random one-offs. So it's got the one-off Wedding Invitation. It's also got a one-off Life Staff in the main. It's squeezed 2 Marauders into the main, as well as 2 Sadistic Glees and 2 Nerfs. So just trying out a bit of everything. But yeah, nice to see that deck doing well. It's definitely a sweet one.
Yeah. So this is Strata Games, right? Marsh Flats is Strata Games. They've piloted this deck for quite a while as well. They'll probably release this run or probably be on their channel, so do check them out. I did see they do have a deck guide as well. I've seen that on their social media posts. They've definitely worked on this. So I would assume all of these cards are in here for a specific reason, even though they do look like random cards, random one-offs. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 one-offs in the sideboard. So so it just looks really odd. But these will be all there for a reason, I would like to think. And this isn't the first time they've top 8 with this deck. And I believe they were the people that put Bloodthrone Vampire originally into the deck. So it'd be pretty interesting to see all this work that they have actually put into it. Seems to be paying off. I did see that they weren't high on the Beckoner. They did. I think they said this. You can check it out on their Twitter, on their feed. They basically said, I think it doesn't play how they like to play the deck. It's obviously a lot of sorcery speed. They want to get a lot of their advantage off the stamina and keep it all into that, and then tapping out for that hasn't been good for them, which is the downside for the card. But obviously we've had quite a lot of success with the upside of obviously getting in that extra damage early in those combo matchups where you need to. The Beckoner just hard carries in that way, especially with the Nested Shambler for sure. So, pretty interesting. They said they were quite reasonable on the Thoughtseize card. So they definitely think they might give that another go, because it seems to do what they want it to do, whatever that is. But they don't want to cut Mezfiend because it's the better card. So, but yeah, it's pretty interesting to see their thoughts on it, because they're obviously posted about they've worked on it. There probably will be a video up some point soon as well. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. It's quite strange that Thoughtseize effect hasn't really seen any play, because it was probably one of the most hyped commons going into AoE.
Yeah.
And it's basically just nowhere.
But I guess that also leads into where we were at last week, right? Where all of these cards aren't free. All the AoE cards is like the Thoughtseize ones are, again, another one. It is a Thoughtseize when it activates it, but turning it on is not free. You need a deck building requirement for it.
Yeah.
So it is interesting that it is nowhere right now, for sure.
And then the only other deck really that I wanted to touch on from this was the blue-black affinity in 9th place. Just interesting to see more takes on this blue X affinity sort of shell. It is a Abjure list, but it's gone a lot harder on blue pips than we have seen like the blue-white ones do. So there's multiple Kenkus, there's 4 hard evidence, there's obviously the 4 relics as well. So the Abjures look a bit more reasonable than just I've got 4 Cryogen relics and that's it. Other than that, it's sort of a pile of affinity staples with the rods, blood fountains, spell bombs, familiars, cast downs, as we were talking about before, being a pretty staple removal spell. The only real standout is there's no big guys, there's no Mer Enforcers, there's no serpents. So it is literally just like Kenku, familiar, and Black Mage's Rod to chip them away till they're dead.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how I can't really remember Hamuda's list that obviously did it. It was in like week 1 or week 2. I don't know how much different it is to it. I can't remember if they ran Mer Enforcer or not, and I just remember they were playing Abjure and Cryogen Relic. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's always nice to see like this blue-black deck become like see more play. It's always great to see. But
yeah, I think especially with the amount of combo at the moment, having stuff like Abjure, Metallic Rebuke,
100%,
to interact on the stack is sort of a big payoff.
100%.
Anything else you want to touch on from the Friday?
I just want to touch on the 4th place Spy Walls deck from Totem Silence. They were trying a couple of cards in the main. I say a couple, they were trying 3, I believe. They were trying 1 Mirror Shell Crab, Vivian's Grizzly, and Beast Rider Vanguard as a way to sort of, when they have mana sink, like obviously when they have a lot of excess mana, they can use it to sort of dig for some cards. So Beast Rider Vanguards from Ether Drift, if they don't know what that is a 2-mana 2/2 with 4 and a green, and you can look at the top 3 cards of your library and put a permanent card from that into your hand and then the rest on the bottom. And Vivian's Grizzly is sort of similar-ish. It's 4-mana 2/3, 3-mana 2/3 with a 4-mana activate ability, and you can look at the top card, and if it's a creature or planeswalker, so if it's a creature, you put it into your hand, and then otherwise you put it on the bottom. So they're basically mana sinks where they can just draw more creatures. Obviously, Beast Rider Vanguard has the upside to draw lands and other permanents, like your Lotus Petals, but does cost more, and is a weaker body, generally.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Obviously, it costs less to play, costs 1 more to activate, but you see a lot more cards, and you gain the ability to hit lands and petals. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one.
I do know that they were quite happy with that effect. The fact that it did help, which makes sense. I think I've had a negative thing on Spy Walls with the sort of backup plan. The backup plan of playing guys to attack with doesn't really work when you don't like you don't have that many guys that are just going to start attacking. Like, you've got the Sagus, the Generous Ents, etc., and then the Trolls, and that's like sort of it. And if you're using them in the early game to search for your lands, you kind of down lower on those guys, and you need to rely on your draw spells to find the excess amount of guys to then overwhelm them. And it doesn't, to me, like, what ends up happening is you end up having 1 or 2 guys in play, and then you just have a bunch of mana. So it's quite good. What I'm trying to get at is I think that these 2 cards actually fix a lot of the problems I have with that deck.
Gives you something to do with the mana.
Which then also leads into going over the top with the other guys. Like, it can get you another Generous End to cast, it can get you another, whatever to cast, and you end up just killing your opponent with that as well. So I'd be more interested in playing Spy Walls with these in than without them in, to be honest. Which is pretty good. Pretty cool to see. And I guess just to touch on the Mirror Shell Crab, that's the channel creature that can pay 2 and a blue, and you counter a spell or an ability unless they pay 3. and it's 7 to cast, and it's like ward 3, is it?
Yeah.
So it's 5 blue to cast, and it's a 5/7. But it's mainly there to counter abilities. It's an uncounterable counterspell, because it's a channel. But then it can counter things like Spell Bomb and then also the other interaction like Envelop or what have you.
Yeah.
But it's like main deck hate, which is pretty nice.
It's an interesting one for sure. There's also in the sideboard, there's a new card, or a newish card that we haven't seen before, which is an Undergrowth Leopard. 2 mana 2/2 from the newest Tarkia set with Vigilance, and you can pay 1 and sack it to destroy an artifact or enchantment. So just another sort of mass vandal-y, the 5th mass vandal, I guess. Pretty cool sort of new tech. Yeah,
definitely. It's nice to see these. Because there's been another one before that was like a 2... I think it was a 2/2 without Vigilance. That did sort of similar thing. And it was another like sort of Cathar Commando sort of card. But they haven't really seen any play because Mass Vandal and Oof are just so much better. But the fact that you need a lot of artifact and enchantment hit for this deck, having 3 in the main and then an extra 3 Mass Vandals in the main, 1 Mass in the side, and then this Leopard coming in as you say, like the sort of 5th one. It's pretty nice to see. For sure.
Moving on to the Saturday challenge then. Saturday the 16th of August, 42 players in this challenge. First and second were both Mono Blue Terror. Third was Grixis Affinity. Fourth was Elves. Fifth was Mono Blue Fate. Sixth was Campfire Gardens. Seventh was High Tide. And 8th was Green Red Ramp. And then the 2 near misses. 9th is Mono Blue Terror. And 10th is Rally Red. Pretty sweet one, sort of coming back that we haven't seen in a while. They're in 10th with this Rally Red list. I'm not sure there was anything particularly standout-ish about it. It was the list with the 2 Ginger Brutes in. But other than that, it seems sort of fairly stock. Nice to see that like a creature aggro red deck is still viable, I guess.
I can't remember if I said it last week or off camera in general in passing to somebody. Everything blurs lately, but I always find it amazing that Rally Red does quite well in leagues and is quite prevalent in leagues, but it never really showed up recently in challenges. So it is nice to see like it obviously break through into the challenge metagame because it is a solid option. Like Rally Red's pretty good, pretty cool choice for sure.
Other than that, the terror lists are sort of much of a muchness. There's nothing really spicy going on there. The Grixis Affinity list is a bit of an odd one. It's back on the Crackland Toxin Hunter's Blowgun sort of pile. It's only running 1 Cryogen Relic. Is still running 3 Black Mage's Rod though. But then has also gone down the path of like the blue-black affinities with 4 bargain, 4 thoughtcast, and only 1 offering. So it seems very much like a bit of a halfway house between shifting to blue-black, but wanting to keep Crackland and Galblast.
Doesn't want to get rid of those training wheels.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is nice to see Grixis Affinity generally do well. Like obviously, it always baffles me that this deck literally got banning after banning after banning after banning, and it was still like a haymaker in Pauper generally, and then it sort of fell off like when Jund Wildfire took in popularity. But the deck does so much other things that Jund Wildfire doesn't do, and it's not like a play this or play that, so it's nice to see like it do pretty well. And obviously I think Black Mage's Rod has definitely helped it cement itself pretty much on the sort of ladder, as it were. Always cool to see. I do like the change. I think we talked about it last week. I do like the Thoughtcast bargain change with being the majority, the prominent draw spells for sure. It's much better than just the 8 sort of Deadly Dispute X effects into 2 or 3 Thoughtcasts. Anything you want to add on any of these other decks?
I guess there's sort of a few interesting things. The Mono Blue Fair is back on the Gale Blade plan with 3 Gale Blades. Obviously, the past couple of weeks, we haven't really seen them take that up. They've all just been adding either more Humbling Elders or more Harrier Strixes and stuff like that. This one has gone back to the Gale Blade, 3 Gale Blade, and then only 1 Unable to Scream in the main. Sort of helped by 2 snaps as removal. Other than that, it's sort of fairly stockish looking Mono Blue Fair. There's nothing too spicy going on. And then the 4th place Elves list is similar to one. Did we talk about it last week? Which was it's the multicolored Elves, but basically only playing blue spells and green spells. So not going too deep down the rabbit hole. And then also playing the 1 Tangled Islet in the sideboard, so you can bring it in, get it with your Generous End, and then have more ability to cast the blue sideboard spells, which is always sort of the downside with them.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a good. I really like that idea. Like, obviously, the Tangled Islet in the main feels terrible, right? Like, you have it in the main, you don't really have any blue spells. Like, well, this one has a Spellstone Sprite in the main, but besides the point, like, it's still, you don't really cast it that often, and it's just like, oh, I've got a tap land now, my whole game plan's now slowed down to hell and all that sort of stuff. But I really do like it in the sideboard. More people should play lands in the sideboard. That is definitely what I learned this weekend. Playing lands in your sideboard is definitely a good thing to do.
It's quite strange that it has the 1 of spells that are in the main, but then has 2 Well Wishes in the sideboard. That's the more on-plan card in the sideboard, and the
But yeah, it's definitely. It's also cool though that they get to play it and have Mass Vandal and still get to counter things like for 2 or 3 with the amount of Mass Vandals in play. That's pretty sweet. Big fan of the Changelings.
Anything else from this top 10 that you want to touch on?
No, happy to go over to the showcase.
Yeah, so the Saturday the 16th showcase, only 29 players. First place, Jund Wildfire. Second place, High Tide. Third place, Mono Red Madness. Fourth place, Mono Blue Fate. Fifth and sixth place, both Mono Blue Terror. Seventh place, Campfire Gardens. And 8th place, Blue Black Fair. Then the 2 near misses, 9th, Mono Red Madness. And 10th, Green Black Fog.
So, shout out to Kirby in 10th, just missing out. I said just missing out top 8. Seems like it would have been a relatively okay-ish field, right? By it was a High Tide. Yeah, the High Tide, right?
Yeah, well, there's a High Tide and 2 Mono Red Madness, 1 in 9th, 1 in 3rd, which is pretty horrendous for the Fog deck.
Yeah.
Out 0 in first, though, but playing Jund Wildfire. Sort of a bit unexpected. He's running the list, or a list very similar to the one we spoke about last week, quite liking, with the Duresses in the main and then Pyroblasts in the side.
Yeah.
To sort of make that High Tide matchup actually a matchup.
Yeah.
He's gone even deeper with an extra Red Blast in the side and the 2 Duresses plus 2 in the main. So full 4 Duresses and 5 Pyros for that matchup seems a lot more reasonable. Again, having the Hydra as well, so you can actually put a clock down that's not just one of your 4 Chrysalis.
Yeah, which is pretty solid. Congrats to Out Zero. Obviously, end up winning with Jund Wildfire for sure. I'm assuming that because it's the showcase, the last showcase, that they didn't, But yeah, I find it quite, because obviously it's a last chance showcase, qualifier, whatever the hell it is. I'll be surprised that they split this, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming they played, but I could be wrong.
Which again is another surprising thing, as you obviously mentioned about them, the Jund Wildfire winning over High Tide, because that matchup seems horrendous. But I'd imagine these bazillion Pyroblasts and Duresses and stuff obviously did come in and end up probably coming in clutch. Did they won 2-0 as well, so one pre-board as well, which is pretty interesting. Pretty cool to see. do you want to mention any other decks in the top 8?
They're all sort of pretty stock looking. Obviously, the mono blue terrors, one being Illuminati, but still just playing a like Discover End sort of stock list. Even the mono red Madness is just a 4 loot and 4 Epicure version. So nothing really too spicy going on there.
The one thing I did want to mention was the 11th place, Weber, which is first of all sweet to see Weber, obviously, doing well, coming 11th in the showcase qualifier and all that sort of stuff. They decided to play green red ramp, which I think they did actually say on Twitter that they picked the deck 5 minutes before. But I also love the fact that they've basically got the Evolutionary Witness Bannerhide Crushok tech, which again hasn't seen play for a decent while, which I feel like we as the podcast are taking credit for this technology for sure. But it's pretty sweet to see that they obviously ended up on a list like similar to ours with like new options with Sagu Wildling instead of like Oliphant and stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the numbers outside of that are a bit odd. I thought looking at this list, like there's 3 Bannerhides and 2 Border Parties, 3 Evo Witnesses, and then 2 Sagus, and then a single Ram through and 3 Rumbles. They seem very much like, I don't know, just a bit all over the place.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. But I guess it's like green-red life, right? You gotta hope you just hedge to draw these sort of random cards and hope they do well. Yeah,
but yeah, obviously super sweet to see Weber doing well and repping the PFP, actually playing in challenges and stuff. The sideboard as well is an interesting one. Very macabre, making it in basically every form, every sideboard of every deck in the format at this point. A single relic as well, sort of a interesting number to settle on.
That's pretty odd.
And then just sort of a mix of your usual Cast into Fire, Deglammer, Weathers, Breath Weapons, and then a couple more Ram throughs.
Yeah. Just to note, obviously, if people are interested in how Magic Online works, and this last showcase qualifier with only 29 players in, effectively what they did is last week they had last chance qualifiers, I think they were called, and I think they did 2 a day in all these formats. There was one on Saturday, which was Pauper. There was one on Sunday, which was, I want to say Modern. I could be wrong. It could be like Pioneer or something. And then I think they've got like a standard one and then another format next week as well. And effectively they do last chance qualifiers, and it's effectively a challenge-based event, like scheduled event, so you've got to go through everyone to finish before the next round. And effectively it's a league after that. And 5-0 gets a token. The winner, if you 5-0 that event, which there's quite a few in the last chance qualifiers, so there'll end up like say 3 or 4 that are 5-0. They all get a token to enter into this event, and there was 2 a day for Monday to Friday, and that was basically how this worked. And it ended up with 29 people entering it, and then this is obviously how you've ended up coming to this event. So the winner out 0 ends up getting a qualification to the mocks, which I believe's sometime in September, and that's like the mocks for season 2, I think it is. So that is how Magic Online works. It's pretty cool. So it's cool that these events, and obviously you can effectively qualify for the mocks, and then I think that qualifies you like for the Pro Tour or something along the lines. I think after that, you'd have to check the Magic Online series. But yeah,
it's
basically
not the clearest.
Yeah, go follow their articles. Daily MTG, and type in mocks and stuff, and you'll find it. Yeah, pretty sweet. Sweet to see all these people, all well-known Pauper grinders as well. So yeah, that's my spiel done.
Moving on to the Sunday.
Yeah.
So Sunday, the 17th of August, 66 players, so good numbers for a Sunday once again. First place was Jund Wildfire, second place Boros Synth, third place Labryrinthe, fourth place Red Black Madness, fifth place Bogles, sixth place Red Black Madness, seventh Grixfinity, eighth Mono Blue Fear, and then the 2 near misses, ninth was Flickertron, and 10th was High Tide. Another pretty mixed up top 8 again. we seem to have all the variety in Pauper at the moment. You can basically play any of the top 10, top 15 decks and top 80 challenge, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a sort of a couple of standouts three main standouts for me on here. Double Red Black Madness is pretty cool. Obviously, it's a deck that seems to like wax and wane in people actually bothering to play it. I feel like we haven't seen it for ages, and then just to have two back to back in the same top 8 is quite cool. They're two very different lists as well. I think one is basically running Artifacts and Galv Blast, and the other isn't. It's on the sort of like basically loads of basics in Rakdos Carnarium's plan for the mana base.
Yeah, the artifact based one's obviously going even harder on the aggro as well, like with the Tomb Raider as well, right?
Yeah, so it's got 4 Goblin Tomb Raider in instead of the what was the other one running? I'm sure the other one's
Snacker,
running
right?
Yeah, so it's cut the Sneaky Snackers, right? And in place of 4 Goblin Tomb Raider, and then it's also running 2 Raven of Fell Omens, which is like if you commit a crime, each opponent loses 1 and you gain 1 every turn. So very much prepped to throw all the burn at the face.
Yeah.
And just attack. But I sort of like this take.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
think
cool.
especially with all the combo decks, if you're an aggressive deck, you want to be as aggressive as possible. And then obviously Galv Blast, if everyone's playing Spire Walls, Galv Blast is a pretty good overgrown battlement answer.
The only thing I find interesting about the Raven, right, is it's drain 1, but it works once. To me, the biggest pull for that is what? Is it Epicure doesn't target, does it? No. So it's literally only the land that Kessig Flamebreather wouldn't hit, I guess, right? So then my thought then is, why run that over the Flamebreather, if you know what I mean? Which is an interesting one.
Yeah,
the Jagged
it could
Barrens
also be a Black Mage's Rod if you wanted it to be black.
Or that.
And it supports Galv Blast. So I guess the Raven's body is slightly better than both of those because you've got that evasion.
Yeah.
And they were all be 1 power. Well, I guess the Rod's actually 2 power, isn't it? But yeah, it's an interesting one. I could definitely see it being either. The life gain, I guess, is maybe a pull against the Mono Red Madness deck, but you've already got the Arms and the Vampire Kisses there anyway, so you're already pretty solid there anyway.
That's my only thought, is like, I do like Raven of Felons, like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for this card, it's very unique and can do cool things and stuff, but in a deck where everything is point and burn at the face, like, I can't see the reason to run it over, as you said, the other options, like Black Mage's Rod as well is another one, obviously, that I'd missed. And then my only thought was, as I said, the land, but they're only running 3 of the land, the Jagged Barrens.
Yeah. So
maybe it is a life gain, but again, I can't see that mattering over. Maybe it might.
Yeah, interesting to run only 3 Barons and then 1 Carnarium as well. Like, would you not just run the 4 Barons?
Yeah, I probably would.
You've got no like bogs and stuff to bounce and loop. So. But yeah, interesting one. I sort of like the way it's gone.
Yeah, it seems pretty cool.
The other 2 standouts for me as well were both aggro decks. Also, the 3rd place, Rally Red. Once again, just Rally Red doing really well. No real comments. This is the one without the 2 Ginger Brutes in. But other than that, it's just a pretty stock Rally Red list. There's nothing really surprising about it. The sideboard has 1 Fairy Macabre in, which I think is funny. The card is just in every single sideboard.
You've got that.
Yeah, but other than that, sort of, just nice to see a different take on the Mono Red list doing well.
For sure.
And then my final one was the 2nd place Boros Synth list.
The deck still exists.
Yeah, very much so. And with no new cards. It's just like old Boros synth.
Like old school 3 relics in the main, sort of can't die to random graveyard based decks, gotta have it in the main sort of card.
To the point where as well it's got Gorilla Shaman still in the sideboard. Which is something we haven't seen in quite a while.
Yeah. I do like, obviously, it's cool to see Boros Synth in it. It's always cool. It's like, it's just doing fair. I'm taking a bunch of game actions and this is what I'm going to do. But it is funny to see that it's literally no new cards, like, still on Radiant Fountain, Kabira Crossroads, a pile of Boros Garrisons as well. It's like, I'm doing fair things and I'm doing exactly that. That is all I'm doing. I'm just going to flicker some cardboard back to my hand and play back down and then that's it.
Yeah, interestingly, like it's obviously got 4 Galvblasts in, but the mana base isn't really set up at all to support Galvblasts. Like, there's 4 Great Furnace, but there's no Ancient Dens and there's no bridges. It's just got Windsguard Crags and then 4 Boros Garrisons, of all things, like fully committed to the 4 Boros Garrison. So the Galblast is really just your 4 Great Furnace and then your 4 Synths, 4 Lembas and 3 Relics. And that's sort of supporting the... I guess you've got the 4th Ravens as well, but even still, you're on 4th Ravens and not the 4 plus, the novices.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
And it's not like the... Like, Artifact here isn't really that prevalent at all. Hence the surprise of seeing Gorilla Shaman. So it seems sort of a bit odd to just go super ham on the Boros Garrisons and then not play the Jewels.
I can imagine that would have come up quite a lot. Like, I think you've got, 11, 15 plus the Great Furnaces, so you're 19. Like, I think you'd probably be fine, but to me, the big pull for Galvblast, though, right now, is the fact that you can activate it so early to kill overgrown battlements.
Yeah. Yeah, like, this is going to...
That is not happening here.
Yeah. I don't even know if you can turn to it, right? You'd have to, like, just burn a Synth on, like, 1 or 2.
Yeah. Or you'd have to go, like, Great Furnace Synth on turn 2, flipping either a Great Furnace or the Galvblast itself. Yeah, to not burn it. Yeah, that's... Well, I guess lead on a 3-man Inspector, maybe. Yeah, it just seems like a lot of work to just...
But yeah, like, if you just played the bridge, you just play a bridge on turn 1, and then turn 2, you can just 3-man and Great Furnace, and it's good to go. Yeah. Yeah, but cool to see sort of Boros Synth come back, even in such an odd form.
Yeah, but though, as you say, though, it's pretty stock other than the mana base being weird, right? Now that you're obviously pointing that out.
Yeah, it's like, it's not... I guess the relics are a bit odd to see in the main nowadays.
Yeah. It's just like an old sort of Boros Synth list, but with a weird mana base. Which is interesting, I guess, but... I always love seeing Lumith Redfield.
I wonder if they played the finals, if the Wildfire player was able to Wildfire one of the many Boros Garrisons.
Who knows? Pretty cool. Boros Synth. It's made my day, though. Anything else to add about any of these decks?
I guess the Flickertron in 9th is sort of an interesting one. More Cryogen Relic deck energy. It's Flickertron, so it's quite hard to sort of talk about. There's a load of one-offs. Only 3 relics and 2 ghostly flickers, so not super committed to it. But yeah, it's there. It's still got the 1 ephemerate, it's still got the Mold Drifter, so it's not like the version we spoke about a couple of weeks ago that was just like full 4 ghostly flickers, no ephemerates, no Mold Drifters. But yeah, it's sort of a bit of a halfway house of that, I guess.
Yeah, I think All Eyes on Me has been playing this pretty much since like Prism and that got banned. They have their own take on it, and obviously they do their own thing and say this is the way to build it, and they're very adamant that they build it how they want. It's always very different, right? Because they don't have, they've only running like 2 maps as well, which to me is quite different than most. They always have like weird mana bases as well, I find, but it's pretty interesting. It's good that they've incorporated Relic into the deck, but yeah, it doesn't really look like they've, as you say, they haven't bent over backwards for it. Pretty interesting, for sure. Anything else to add?
No, I'm happy to move on.
So we have some hot takes from last week. We have 2 that we are highlighting. One's that is Reese's, that basically saying that High Tide won't be banned when that announcement happens. And the other one is a listener said that the Esper Flicker will top 8 within a month of AoE release. That's not happened. I think we're not far off. We're like 2 weeks out, maybe a week out of the month ending. So,
have we had any news on a PFP announcement as of late? I feel like we haven't heard from them in a while.
No, they did say it probably would be August, right? Is when they said. So, obviously, maybe this week. Could be, do you know what? Could have been out now while we're recording. Who knows? Who knows? They might extend it, but they said it would be likely August, so it could be early September as well. It's incoming. Soon, TM. If you want to do the next...
Yes, so the first listener hot take was that Grixis Affinity would top 8, and it definitely did. Multiple times.
Well done. Old Emo Dave said that Cryogen Relic will continue to make no impact worth talking about, and don't think that's the case. Like, it's obviously not blown up, but it's definitely still making an impact in like the things like Flickertron, in FAMs, in Grixis Affinity, in the fact that Blue-Black Affinity now definitely cemented itself as a deck, running Cryogen Relic and Abjure. I think that's pretty good to me. It's definitely worth talking about.
Yeah, at least we have talked about it, so that sort of answers that one.
Yeah.
Mine from last week was that Blue-White Affinity would top 8. It did not. It has definitely been a lot slower to catch on than the Blue-Black. Looks Knight is maybe just not yet.
Maybe. My hot take was that we will get 6 High Tides in one top 8 next week, and that didn't happen. We had like 2, I think was the highest we had. But
yeah, it's nowhere particularly close, to be honest.
Which is good. But also it showed that there was quite a lot of decks sort of here to sort of fight it, right? Like the Fair decks. Like you got blue-red Fair, you got the actual mono-blue Fair making quite a big resurgence and all that sort of stuff. The Juresses and stuff in the Wildfire decks. So maybe people have learned to play against it. Which is good.
And then the hot takes for next week. The first listener hot take was that Rakdos Madness would overtake Mono Red Madness next week as the deck of choice. That'll be an interesting one because obviously we've seen the sort of pickup of Red Black towards the end of last week. So it'd be interesting to see if that continues or if it does the normal Red Black thing of no one plays it again for now for 2 months.
Yeah. Definitely be interesting, and definitely we'll be checking out Kirby's data for that to see if it did overtake its deck of choice. The next listener hot take is similar to the one that Reese did last week, which is that Blue-White Affinity decks using Lux Knight Breacher will start doing well and show up on online metagames, and instead of just being a deck that is doing well in paper. That's from Moist Moose.
Maybe I have to check the leagues as well to see if there's any 5-on leagues.
Yeah.
My hot take for next week is basically doubling down on Mono Blue Terror plot being the best deck in the format at the moment. And it will put 2 copies in each challenge top 8 next week.
Mine's going to be oddly specific. Mine is there'll be no Terror in next week's Saturday challenge. Specifically the Saturday challenge.
Why?
Don't know. No idea. Not a clue. But I think it's time Terra needs to calm down. Top 8's everything. And Saturday's the small one. So I was like, it's more likely to be hated out.
I guess we did miss it on the Sunday. But the showcase and the Saturday challenge and the Friday challenge all had at least a copy in the top 8.
You know, Discover End's done the hard work of obviously making everyone play it. It's time it stopped. Anything else to add?
No, that's it from me.
Thank you all for the continued support. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please do not forget to share it with your friends, your family, your local Pauper community, and even your opponents. Just tell those about it. Just say GG. Don't forget to listen to Casting Commons. What you say?
Not even your window cleaner.
Nah, I don't see a window cleaner. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that or whatever, but we had to pause because my window cleaner was going nuts. You know. Anyways, that is all from us at Casting Commons. Until next time, and don't forget to stay hydrated. Peace!
Bye.